Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Football Fignuts podcast. This is Season 7, Episode 7, like Seagram's 7, remember those? But of all the episodes together, that's 282 episodes. I'm Craig.
I am Cinch.
And I'm Sean.
And I am Britt. And gentlemen, it is time for the final roundtable of the year. We have revealed all of our rankings. We debated some of our rankings. And now it's time to just come together and give all four of our contributors an opportunity to talk about what they want to talk about leading into draft season. But first, we must begin where we always begin. And let's go in the order we introduced ourselves. Craig, what are you drinking tonight?
So tonight, I have a can of Impending Descent given to me by the source. It's
The
a little
source
late.
himself.
A little late, but it's okay because it's a stout, so it's fine.
So have you tried it yet?
I'm about to. I poured it in a
Okay.
glass, so.
Well, you're going to try the glass. I'll tell you the conversation I had with the source about this on Saturday.
Okay.
The source says to me, "This beer's for Craig." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "Do you think it's still good?" And I went, "What do you mean is it still good?" He goes, "Well, it's been in the back of my closet for like 6 months." And I looked at it, I said, "It's a stout." And he went, "Yeah." I said, "Stout's age, source. It's fine unless it's like 17 years old." And I proceeded to tell him about the mystical bottle of Igor's Dream that Craig and I have been sitting on since, 2018?
17, 8, yeah, around there.
The bottle's from 2014.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Well, we got it in like 2017, and we opened one. We got 2 bottles because they're craft-sized bottles. We opened one during a podcast. It was like episode 25 or something like that. I don't remember anything about it. I apparently woke up with like panicked phone calls from my wife. I was outside on the lawn. It was like 3 days later. I'm pretty sure George Carlin's ghost visited me at some point. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we have another bottle of it, and we're scared to death to open it.
Yeah, it's still sitting in my.
It is now almost 10 years old, which means it is now a fine syrup, like Greek coffee.
It's probably.
And it's probably about 40% alcohol.
At least.
But what date next year in 2014 or 2024 are we going to open it?
You know what? Why don't we open it for one of the round tables? Because if we can give it's a crap bottle, so there's 32 ounces on it, so that's 8 ounces each. 8 ounces is enough for you to see Jesus. So
and have a full conversation with him at dinner.
Yeah, you can ask him all sorts of shit. Like, "Hey, listen, Jesus, settle Twitter political arguments. Are you for or against abortion and shit?" You'll have plenty of opportunity to have those conversations. So the beer will be fine. It's actually aged. So, all right, tell me what you think of the beer.
It is very smooth. It says brewed with vanilla beans, and you definitely, at least at this point, you definitely get the vanilla aftertaste.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. It's a dessert to me. It's like a kind of dessert beer.
Okay.
It's not overly sweet. It's more like chocolatey. It's also 9.1%. So yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Since what are you drinking tonight?
This evening I have my favorite beer, Southern Tier Pumpkin Nitro.
Nice.
It's getting closer. Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, you got another week.
Opening it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see.
What
Yeah.
do you think?
There it goes. He just opened it.
It's a week from Friday. Oh my God, that's our draft.
See? Hope
Friday.
they have it on tap.
Friday, September 1st. Oh, they got to have a pumpkin beer on tap while we're doing the draft, right?
You know what? They didn't the last time we were there.
You're right.
I hope they do
The
this
year
time.
before that, they had Rosemary's Baby on tap.
They did.
And yeah, that was a time. That was a time.
Call them and ask them.
I want to be surprised.
I could touch base with the source on that if we want. All right, Sean, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking something somebody left here after a big party I had at my place.
Uh-huh.
Northway Brewing Company, Avenue of the Pines. Ever heard of
You
it?
son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
I told you to save those for football season.
Have you met
there,
met Sean's house? Nothing lasts.
His house is like the Happiness Hotel from the
Like
Great Morning Paper.
the scotch I brought there last year, it was gone.
Oh yeah, I
So,
drank
you know.
that. I'm pretty sure Sean and I drank that like the week after you left.
I know.
Listen, don't drink any more of my fucking beer. That's for football season for us to share.
There was only
share.
one left.
There was only one left,
Yes.
and you're drinking it now.
Yes.
You're disowned. You're fired. Fired. Get off my podcast. Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine. Well, you know what? Just because I'm also a jerk. I'm also drinking Avenue of the Pines. I had 2 left in the fridge. This is one of them. I will save the last one for football, and I will stare icy daggers across the room at Sean as I drink it.
As one should.
Have you forgotten that I'm bringing a very rare pumpkin beer to the opening day of football? Do you not want to try the Imperial pumpkin beer? Apparently you don't, because you're pissing me off.
And I'm also bringing the ingredients to make the Simpsons drink that Sean will have to make for us.
What, a flaming moe?
No. You remember the episode, the old episode where they have like a dinner party and Flanders makes Homer like a mixed drink and gets Homer completely trashed?
Oh, the one where he's staring down Maud's dress?
Yes. Yep.
Oh my god, that's one of the times that she almost, what's her name? Marge almost divorces himself.
Yeah.
So full disclosure, I did say I would be drinking the beer that Cinch gave me, which was Unicorn Farts After Dark Breakfast. I think it was called
breakfast? I think it was.
Breakfast Stout. I opened it without reading it, and then when I read Breakfast Stout and took a sip of it, I realized it contains lactose. So I can't drink that because I can have lactose and I can have alcohol, but I can't have lactose and alcohol at the same time. It does very, very bad things to my system. So I am drinking Avenue of the Pines, although my wife is happily sipping on a small cup of it outside. And her take on it was very chocolatey and very sweet. Was her take on it? So,
Really?
Yeah, that was her 2 bits. So, all right, before we throw it open to the floor, I've got our weekly trivia question for you guys.
Okay.
As always, you guys get to rotate taking guesses. And, 3 strikes and you're out. Let's see who can get the most off this list. I have in front of me, of all positions that are not quarterback, all fantasy positions that are not quarterback, the 10 players who had a minimum of... Oh, wait, that's not right. Hold on.
Oh, boy.
Stand by.
That was a balk.
Technical difficulties.
Just
wait,
like the
why is it
NFL,
displaying that
changing the
guy?
question.
Yep, that's what they do, man. That's what they
Changing the rules as we go.
Yep.
So, wait a minute. Why when I say minimum of 10 games, why is it showing me guys who've only played 3 games?
No.
All right, here we go. I have in front of me the list of players, non-quarterback,
Okay.
who played a minimum of 10 games last year. The top 10 in fantasy points per game. Keeping in mind, they had to play a minimum of 10 games. How many of these 10 players can you name? We'll start with Craig. Name one of the top 10.
Not a quarterback, right?
Any position but quarterback.
All
Standard
right.
fantasy scoring. Like the
PPR?
CBS version. PPR.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson's number 2, so that's a point for Craig. Cinch. Someone else in the top 10.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce's number 10.
Ooh.
Number 10. So Cinch has got a point. Sean.
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey is number 3 at 21 points per game. So a point for Sean. Everyone has a point.
Ooh.
Wow. Craig, back to
First
you.
round is easy.
First round's easy.
That's true.
Yeah, minimum of 10
let's see.
games.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is number 4. That's a point for Craig. Back to Cinch.
Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler's number 1 at 22.1 points per game.
Yeah, he is.
Blows my mind. Cinch with 2 points. Sean, you got to keep up with the pack.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is number 5. Wow, you guys are plowing through this. I love it. There's only 4 correct answers left. Numbers 6 through 9 are still on the board. And it comes back to Craig.
Yeah. Let's go with I think it's a running back. Let's go with Barkley because I don't remember him being hurt that much.
Saquon Barkley was number 11. That is
Oh,
strike one on Craig.
Sad.
So everybody's still at 2. Cinch with a chance to take the lead.
First round is easy. Second round, not so much.
Well, now you're in round 3.
See, there you go. I'll take a shot in the dark. I'll say DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf is not in the top 20, so that is a strike on Cinch. Sean, here's your chance to take a lead over both of them. Give me one of the 4 names in front of me. And if you strike here, I have a mild hint.
I have a name. I'm going to say CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb's number 13, so that's a strike.
Okay.
You and your CeeDee Lamb.
Because all 3 of you got a strike, here is one very small hint. Of the 4 players still on this list, 2 of them play for the same team.
Dun, dun, dun.
So it's a team with 2 fantasy-relevant top 10 points per game people. Back to Craig.
And neither of those 2 people have been mentioned yet.
Correct. Of the 4 remaining people, there are 2 on the same team.
All right. Let's go with... I feel like this should be easier, but it's not.
It's easy for me.
Pass. I'm ready.
Let's go with A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown's number 12.
Damn it.
Strike 2 on Craig. Cinch, what do you got?
I've got 2 different names for 2 different guys on 2 different teams.
Okay.
So I'll just flip a coin, and I'm going to go with one of my favorite players in the league, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No. Amon-Ra St. Brown came in at number 15. That's strike 2 on Cinch. Sean. Chance at redemption.
Did we say Stephon Diggs?
No one has said Stephon Diggs yet.
Okay, Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs is correct. That's number 6.
I just
And
couldn't
give
bring
Sean-
myself to say his name.
Sean now has 3, where everybody else has 2, and Sean only has 1 strike. Craig, you have to get one of the 3 remaining names before you strike out.
Okay. Let's go with... And somebody already said CeeDee Lamb, right?
CeeDee Lamb is off the board.
10 games. Nick Chubb.
No, that was mine.
You
Number
said that?
16 is Nick
Oh,
Chubb.
you're welcome,
Craig-
Cinch.
Craig strikes out. Cinch, you got to get one to stay in the game.
All right, I'm feeling good. That was the guess I was going to have, and that's why
You're
I'm feeling
welcome.
good, because Craig got that negative guess out of the way. So now I'm all set. I'm clear. I'm ready to go. I'm going to say Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk was not in the top 20. So Cinch strikes out. Sean, do you want to take any more guesses? You're the winner on this one, but do you want to take another shot?
Sure, I'll guess another person.
Who do you got?
I'm going to say Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs is number 8. That's correct. That's 4 points for Sean.
Oh.
I'm going to say Devontae Adams.
Correct. Those are the 2
Yeah.
guys on the same team. Devontae Adams is number 7. There's only 1 guy left. I'll give you 1 shot at it before we move on.
Cooper Kupp.
I'm going to say
T.J. Hawkinson.
no. Shoot.
Derrick Henry.
Oh boy. T. Higgins.
Who is it?
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, no. T. Higgins is outside the top 20 as well. The answer was Derrick Henry.
I thought
Derrick-
about that.
19.1 points per game. So Sean's the winner on the impossible challenge there. So again, just so you guys know, the top 10 in points per game in a regular PPR was Eckler, Jefferson, McCaffrey, Chase, Hill, Diggs, Adams, Jacobs, Henry, and then Kelsey. So there's our impossible trivia for the week. All right, so now we can open the floor. Who's got something they want to put on the table?
I do, and I'd just like to say all of those guys were on my team and in my starting lineup every week.
That's amazing. That means
All
you
right, so
started like 6 wideouts.
It's a one team league.
It's a different league. It had different settings.
It's 5
Okay.
wideouts and 4 running backs. That's a crazy league setup.
No
Lot of-
quarterbacks.
A lot of flexes.
Okay, here's my question. So this past weekend, the Patriots played at the Packers in preseason game number 2.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter, 10 minutes and change left in the game, a close game, not that it matters what the score was. Friendly fire, Patriot rookie cornerback Isaiah Bolden runs into one of his teammates in the middle of a play, gets knocked out cold.
Saw it.
They bring the stretcher out, they, neck brace, they get him on the stretcher, takes maybe 20 minutes. He leaves the field, and right there they just call the game. That's it, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously this is coming off last season with Damar Hamlin getting dead, and then they brought him back on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched football a long time. I don't remember them canceling a preseason game halfway through. I'm sure it's happened, but I don't remember it. So my question for you guys is this the new NFL? Are we going to have games during the regular season where someone gets injured, seriously injured like this, and they just say, that's it, we're done?
I personally think so, and I don't have a lot to add to that. I think that the Damar Hamlin injury changed the way that a lot of players and a lot of fans look at injuries that are severe. And I don't think we're going to see it a lot, but I would not be surprised if we see it again this season, where there's a game that they're just like, listen, we're going to have to finish this another time kind of thing. But I wouldn't be shocked, but I also wouldn't be shocked if it doesn't happen. So, yeah, I do think that that's a fundamental change.
I think that we will not see it unless it's a very, very severe injury. Hamlin was dead, pretty much.
Why is that funny?
It's not funny, but he. I think it would take like a guy not responding, even if he is still, his heart's still beating. Like if he's not responding, still like unconscious, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It might happen, but if it's just a thing where he's going off the cart and he ends up giving a thumbs up, it's not going to happen. And like how, in a preseason game, okay, we've had enough. We're just, we don't want any more injuries. But I don't think we're going to see that in a regular season game unless it's something really severe, like, again, like someone's getting CPR in the field, or if they're unconscious and not responding.
Okay, Craig?
The same. Like, I've said my feelings about preseason having 4 games for a while now. Yeah. So the fact they canceled the preseason game, I think, was perfectly fine. I mean, they should do it really for any reason they have. But a full game, like a season game, I don't think anything's... There may be a long stoppage of play, but I don't think they're going to stop anything unless, like Sean said, like it's really severe, like the person's not responding. If it's some like Joe Theismann injury and their bone sticking out of their leg, the game might get delayed extra, but I don't think they're going to stop it. So it'd have to, I think it'd have to be pretty severe again for that to happen.
Since you asked the question, what are your thoughts?
I would hope, and this might sound insensitive, but I just think of it as I'm old. I would hope that the NFL hasn't gotten soft to the point where, and again, it sounds terrible. I don't necessarily mean it in a bad way, but there have been players paralyzed before, and there have been players injured severely like that before. And I just hope we haven't gotten to the point where now that the ice has been broken where the game was canceled, we'll see that happening more often. And just to update everybody on Isaiah Bolden, he had movement in all of his extremities. They sent him to the hospital. He was discharged and flew back with the team in the morning. He's in concussion protocol. It sounds like it wasn't that serious of an injury. I mean, it wasn't me, but it sounds like it wasn't that serious of an injury after all. But, again, who cares about the preseason?
Any injury you have to your neck, like they have to be extra careful with. Even if, say, he gets hurt and it's like a herniated disc, he's not going to be able to move. If it's severe enough, he's not going to be able to move his arm.
Yeah.
So, they have to take extra precautions with that stuff. So, but yeah, I think if the guy's conscious, I don't think they're gonna stop it. So,
and I know it's not a real comparison, but I think about how the popularity of NASCAR was skyrocketing in the early 90s. And then Dale Earnhardt died on a track.
Yep. And what's crazy is the car accident he died in, if you watch it, it doesn't look that severe compared to other like NASCAR crashes you could watch where the car like pretty much explodes and there's parts everywhere and it's just a roll cage. You know, like his car was barely touched, you know.
I apologize. He died on February 18th, 2001. So
close enough to the 90s, but still, yeah.
I worry that if NFL is not careful, they'll go the same route. And it's not the same thing. I get that. It's a kind of very loose comparison. No one wants to see anybody die on the field. No one here is suggesting that. But I also just think that the NFL has seen other sports gain popularity and lose it quickly because of one thing. And they don't want their one thing to be someone dying on the field. That's I mean, think about it. Remember when NHL was like on the rise and they had a strike, they had to cancel a season and nobody talked about NHL for like weeks, for like a year or two. Like nobody cared about freaking hockey again after it was getting its best numbers. Earnhardt with NASCAR. I barely hear about NASCAR anymore unless I'm watching Fox.
Wait, the hockey strike is over?
Oh yeah. A couple weeks ago. So
I missed that
questions.
on the news.
Great question, Cinch. Who else has got something to toss out there?
Mine really, and this clearly is not as pressing, but it was announced today that Trey Lance is the third quarterback in San Francisco. You think he's? I think personally he's done.
Wait,
in San Francisco.
Behind Darnold?
Darnold is the official number 2 behind Purdy. No,
he's actually number 4 behind McCaffrey.
I guess technically.
Did they have
I think it's
out
time
in front of the stadium with a sign around his neck that says "Make an offer"?
They might be. I think he's done. Does anyone like? Do you think he's gonna? Where do you think he would go?
Oh, if we learned anything about when Darnold fell from anywhere as possible, I mean,
like the Bears, maybe. I don't know.
No.
See,
Bears might need a quarterback soon.
So I think that he is probably done in San Francisco. I think that he could still maybe have a career in NFL.
There it is. Hi, Scarlett.
I think
Sorry.
he needs to go to a place where they have an established quarterback that's going to be there for a few more years to kind of mentor him. I think that's what he needs if he's going to end up being any kind of a quarterback.
Oh, like the Vikings, maybe.
Well, yeah, Vikings can very well be it, But I'm thinking of the lines of kind of like a, what Green Bay has done the last couple of times, molding Aaron Rodgers, now molding Jordan Love, something like that. If that can happen to him, maybe he can have a career still.
Cousins is 35, and I think he's entering the last year of his deal. I could be wrong on that bit, but I know he's 35 because I just looked it up. But I think he might be entering the last year of his deal. And what's that?
You are correct.
So this would be a good time to do exactly what Sean is saying. Go make a trade for him.
Hold on. I got to jump in. You've got the best receiver in the league, and you want to make a deal to trade for a guy that is the third string behind Darnold. You could pick up a free agent quarterback who isn't going to be much different than Lance. San Francisco traded so much to get to Lance, and now he can't beat out Darnold, who is on his third team. Lance is a nothing. He's a nothing. He's worse than Baker Mayfield.
Wow, you heard it here, folks.
What if he's so good and they put so much into trading 2-3 first-round picks to move up and get him?
Three first-round picks.
Well, if he's so good, he would at least be the backup. He was so bad what they had seen before this preseason that they had to go out and bring someone else in just in case Purdy wasn't ready to play.
Oh, I agree. I'm not giving any kind of capital for him.
No, and I think that's what San Francisco is trying to do. This is hanging a sign around his neck. This is a for sale sign. And I
At
think
this point, with saying this, they might even cut him. I mean, I've actually heard that if they couldn't find somebody, they could probably even just cut him because.
And we've seen this before. Remember, Aaron Rodgers spent a year or two behind Favre. Mahomes spent a year behind Smith. If you want to groom somebody, having them in that backup role for a year is not a bad idea. So I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that Minnesota goes out and grabs him to back up this year because they don't want to consider re-signing Cousins next year. And if Sean is correct, and the other option is putting him out by the curb with a free sign next to an old couch, then trading him for anything is valuable. I mean, Cinch is right. They gave up a ton. But if they've truly given up on him, they might be willing to just take whatever they can get. And putting him third on the depth chart is a pretty easy way to tell the league, we're desperate.
Yeah. I mean, Cinch, would you want him on the Patriots?
No, I wouldn't give up anything for him. Who would you rather have, Mike White, Gardner Minshew, or Trey Lance?
Well, okay,
Trey
you cannot put the stash in this list.
Yeah, you might as well put Blake Bortles on the list then.
I'm just saying, Trey Lance is nothing but a name. That's all he is name recognition.
When we get right down to it, what are we besides our name?
That's right.
We are our legacies.
Our legacies are our name. Look at any statue. What's inscribed upon it? Your name. Okay, I just got possessed by an ASMR podcast there for a minute. All right, I'm back.
Nice.
I'm back.
So here's
you're both right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
No. Are we moving on? I don't know if we're moving on.
No, this is the easy episode. I'm not going to punish you guys and crack the whip tonight. Go ahead, talk about it.
Like the 49ers, we have moved on.
Go ahead, Sean.
All right. So the segment's called a little bit of hot takes, and we've had kind of four of them together. We've done trivia and stuff like that, but we haven't had really hot takes.
We're gonna get there.
Okay. Okay. Can I say mine and see if it flows into it?
You want to go there first, because I'm up after you, and you by all means you can feed into me.
I'm just saying, who is the one guy in fantasy that is going somewhere and you're just like, I just think he's going to have not that you're going to draft him high because you have this feeling that you're going to way overvalue it, but who's the guy that you think, hey, you know what? He could really outperform what he's being valued as right now.
Oh, there's two guys on my name. There's two guys on my lips right away. Somebody else go.
So I'll go first since, just to give you an idea. Calvin Ridley, I know he's actually going up on boards a bit. I think he can be a top 12 receiver this year, a number one. And if you can get him at the value that he's going at, some leagues I might take a chance of that.
Okay. All right, so let me jump in. There's two names that come to my mind right away, and one of them is going to instantly be like, Britt, you've been listening too much to the goddamn guru. Yeah, I have. The first one's Rashad White. Mm-hmm. Rashad White, he's got the 12th best strength of schedule of any running back. So if you go based just solely off strength of schedule, he's an RB1. Okay, but we all know that's not how it works. His ADP is 63. That means he's going in the 5th round in 12-team leagues. In sleeper leagues right now, he's going 73rd. Are you telling me, as bad as the Bucs are probably going to be, that their best running back is not in the top 70 picks? I think he's going to be better than that. Is he going to be great? No. But if he's sitting there in the 4th or 5th round, I might snatch him up. If he's sitting there in the 6th or 7th, I'm probably taking him. The other guy is Kenny Gainwell. Everything I'm hearing out of camp is that Kenny Gainwell is a huge part of this. Now, it's Philadelphia. They're all sitting around a big old keg going, I told the media today that Kenny Gainwell's going to get 60% of the snap share. Can you believe it?
He's going to outbeat Penny.
Yeah, I mean, but those are the two guys I'm looking at. Craig and Cinch, anybody you think is going too low for how they're going to perform?
Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, let's go Craig first. Who's being drafted too low?
Too low? For me, and I guess I know I'm going to sound biased with this, but I think now that the off-field situation has been settled and he has a healthy offensive line, I think it's time to get back on the train. That's just me. Just saying exactly what Sean said. I think he doesn't have to worry about a contract. He accepted like a lower contract price. His off-field stuff is settled. So I think if his offensive line stays healthy, I think Joe Mixon can have the season that we've all expected for some time now.
Joe Mixon was number 16, by the way, on that trivia question. Was one of the few names in the top 20 you guys did not guess. He was number 16 in points per game. So, Cinch, who's being drafted too low?
I thought you said in that game not quarterbacks. Oh, Mixon. I'm all right.
Okay.
The other Joe.
I'm trying to look up who my answer is while you guys are talking. I got distracted.
You need more time?
I need 30 seconds.
All right. My other one, I think James Cook.
Well, that's a good one.
You
mean James Dalvin Cook? Not to be confused with his brother, Dalvin James Cook?
He's going as a maybe a flex.
Hold on. His ADP, according to Fantasy Pros right now, is 73.
73.
That's RB3 flex territory.
Yeah, I would not mind him as my flex at all. I think that it can be, it's one of those high upside guys that if everything goes right, he can. And I don't think the floor is too much lower than that. The floor is not too much lower than flex.
So really quick before we
a good number 2.
So really quick before we throw it to Cinch, the reason why I think people are down on him, they are playing the 30th easiest schedule. So there's the third hardest schedule of all teams against running backs. That's really why, and that's the thing. So based on movement and everything, I'm using Fantasy Pros for this, by the way. I love Fantasy Pros site. Fantasy Pros and the Guru. Just subscribe. I don't get anything from it. I love them both. They have them as the third hardest schedule for running backs. I think Sean's absolutely right, but that does make me take a step back and go,
The only thing I could say is that, they do have Damian Harris, or not Damian Harris. Is it Damian Harris? Yes, Harris there for the actual running, maybe part of it. But I think James Cook is going to actually have a part of that share. But he's going to be out there for most of the pass catching part, and I don't. That's not going to affect. That's not included in that. I don't think in that running back. Rushing stat for defenses. So,
okay. All right, good call. Cinch, who do you have on your guy who's being drafted too low?
All right, so here's my guy. If you could look up his ADP because I couldn't find it. Jaylen Warren. He's the backup running back on the Steelers, and I think he's better than Hines. I think Hines is one of these guys that in 2 years he's out of the league. Huh?
So that's a hot take.
That's
Jaylen Warren is just a poor man's Benny Snell.
No.
Remember Benny Snell?
You know what? Benny Snell's selling newspapers on the corner while Warren's playing on Sunday.
How dare you? I ran into Benny Snell the other day in the Home Depot. He is doing just fine.
And you probably tackled him, and that's why he's not in the league.
No, he sold me a hammer, thank you.
No, Snell is in the league. I think he is definitely on a team right now.
He's on a team.
Cuts down are coming. So Jaylen Warren's right now, his ADP is number 139. That puts him in the 11th round of a 12-teamer. So that is a...
Oh, he's on... Benny Snell's on the Lions right now.
There you go.
Oh, he's going to win a Super Bowl this year.
What I agree with Cinch is that he's definitely a high priority handcuff. If you have Najee, you definitely need to draft Warren. Definitely.
That's not a bad call. It's not a bad call. Excellent choices, gentlemen. You know what else is an excellent choice? Opening another beer.
Right here.
You know what I'm
What are
opening
you,
right now?
what are you opening?
I'm going to tell you. I'm glad you asked. I am opening the best pumpkin beer ever made by human hands. This is Rosemary's Baby.
I just opened the same thing.
Jesus Christ, are you inside my house? You've copied exactly the 2 beers I had.
I know.
He looks at his wife and goes, you know what Britt's going to bring to the podcast tonight? Because I do. That's right. Steal his fucking thunder. Okay, I got a quick one to toss out to you guys. Because I want to get more from you guys. So I just want a quick hit on this one. Jonathan Taylor gets permission to go looking for a trade. Under 15 seconds. You hear that, Sean? Under 15.
Okay.
Does Jonathan Taylor land with the Dolphins? Cinch.
No.
Craig.
No.
Sean.
No, because no one wants to pay a running back.
Okay. All right. That was my second quick hit. I've got more stuff here, but I would like to open up to the floor. Is anybody else? Cinch, do you have another topic you'd like to bring to the floor tonight?
Not really. I have been dedicating my thoughts to that question I asked about the Isaiah Bolden injury and canceling the game. Been giving that a lot of thought, so that's all I had.
That's fair. Craig, do you have anything else you'd like to bring to the table tonight?
For me, this is could be a really quick answer from everyone. Who is the running back that you feel if you draft it, you would have to handcuff them to their backup?
Isaiah Pacheco. Next.
Who is his backup?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh. I don't know. To me, and this could be completely wrong because the Chiefs are like the number one offense. To me, I don't necessarily want to have either one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the two of them combined together into one guy that was going to play all 3 downs, I definitely want that guy. But I just don't see too much out of either one of them.
I agree. The injury history for both is a little eh. Sean, who's a running back you have to handcuff?
All of them. You have to. That's the way it is. I mean, there's something you're not going to get. If you do Aaron Jones, you're probably not going to get A.J. Dillon because you have to give up too much capital. You know, I mean, but like a Najee, or Warren, you can get later on. Mixon, you can get Chase Brown. Can't remember.
Yes.
You can get him later on. It's kind of easier to get those handcuffs. So it all depends. You know, I mean, if it's easy to get it later in the round and later in the draft, I would definitely do it.
So just to go really quick back to my point before we throw it to Craig for the same answer. The Chiefs running back situation this year is the most unsettled it's been since the year 2000. Because in 2001, Priest Holmes came to town. And when he left, Jamal Charles was there. And when Jamal Charles left, Kareem Hunt was there. I'm sorry, no, Larry Johnson. Forgot about Larry Johnson in the mix there. Then there was Kareem Hunt. And then they drafted Helaire. And ever since, it's been kind of like, Lord, please don't let anyone get hurt. Because I don't even know the name of our other running backs. So, yeah, I think this is the Chiefs backfield is either hit or miss. Craig, who's a guy you got to handcuff?
So for me, it would either be Dobbins, and again, everyone's going to say I don't like the Ravens, but I've been a huge Dobbins fan since he was in college, and he's made of tinfoil. So I wish him well. I hope he has a great year, but so it's either Dobbins or Dalvin Cook, because Dalvin Cook's shoulder is also made of tinfoil. So
that's generous right there. Tinfoil. I might be more like paper mache, but Cinch, anyone you're handcuffing?
I've got a team that's kind of the opposite of a handcuff, because the handcuff is, hey, Cook's going to get hurt. I got to have Alexander Madison. Well, what I'm talking about,
Madison.
I've got 3 guys, all running backs on the same team, that I think will all be rostered by someone in your league.
Okay.
The Atlanta Falcons. You got Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and Cordarrelle Patterson.
Interesting.
It's not necessarily a question. It's just kind of a statement, because they're all going to be on someone's team.
See, I'm not sure about the Tyler Algier thing.
I'm not sure about Cordell.
When I was talking to Benny Snell the other day, and I was talking about a power drill, he told me to go see Tyler, and I thought that was Tyler Algier. So, that's a joke.
Yeah.
Thank you for humoring me. I know Cordero Patterson's always going to have value. Cordero Patterson is a great best ball pick. He's going to go off 1 week every year. Good luck figuring out what week it is.
And in
everybody
PPR,
picks him up.
he's good for targets in a PPR because he was a wide receiver.
Right. He's essentially a wide receiver that runs up at running back. So, all right.
Hey,
Who
did
didn't
you-
get a second? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Did you know who the backup quarterback is in Atlanta? Desmond Ritter's the starter. Do you remember who the backup is?
Is it
Is it Sean?
is it Mariota? No.
I'm looking, and
Sean,
Sean is not the second or third backup.
Wow, that's disappointing because I think he's better than Darnold.
I think
Who
he's
is
a
it?
guy everyone will like, and I think he's a guy that's better than Trey Lance. Tyler Heineke.
I wouldn't put him above Trey Lance, but yes, I do like him.
He's done more in the NFL than Lance has.
That's true.
Well,
True.
If getting injured is a thing, then Trey Lance has a leg up on Tyler Heineke.
You
Just
got me
saying.
there.
Just saying. If that's a stat, then that's something to consider. All right, who didn't get a second question? Is that everybody?
I
I think so. Think so.
Okay, great, because that leads right into final thoughts. So
Really?
it's
Oh,
we're 40. We're 43 minutes in, baby.
We
Did you have something else to bring up, Sean?
Don't call him baby.
Draft strategy this session.
Well, yeah, we didn't really talk draft. You know what? You can use that for your final thought. So, Sean, give us your draft strategy as your final thought, or whatever final thought you had prepared. I don't care.
Oh my God! For what kind of league? Oh my God! No.
All right, you have 90 seconds. Go.
Oh my God! Every year is different. You have to take count of everything that's going on. Get to know it. This year,
30 seconds.
I think we just lost Cinch, but
I think so.
you have to this year, wide receivers, you can get value with running backs, which is rare. Later
15
on,
seconds.
but wide receivers early. Actually, one of those top 8 QBs, don't be afraid to go kind of after them a little earlier this year.
5 seconds.
You can still do very good with your build if you go wide receiver and your quarterback a little earlier this year.
He's over by about 5 seconds, but that's fine. Craig, your final thought.
My final thought is, if people say they reach too early for someone, but if there's someone that you really, really want on your team, then just draft them.
Enjoy the mocking of your compatriots.
You could, but hey, if that's who you want, and then you could screw everyone up and draft a quarterback with your first pick, and that'll just screw everyone up.
Unless it's a super flex.
Unless it's a super flex. And then just really quick, I just want everyone to be aware. There was an update to when the beta for Call of Duty Modern Warfare was going to be out. So if you're thinking about drafting Kyler Murray, just so you know, between October 6th and October 16th is when the betas happen, and November 10th is when the game comes out. So I just want you to be aware of that.
Craig has a whiteboard in his basement with pieces of cloth that run between pictures of Kyler Murray and Activision Blizzard.
Look up his stats from when Call of Duty comes out.
Hole.
Oh, I'll find them. I will send them to you. Goddamn it!
Rabbit hole and go in the other room, sir.
Oh my God!
Cinch, you got a final thought for us? Are you back?
I do. I have a final thought. So right now you're listening to this, and you're probably a week, maybe 2 weeks away from your draft. And you know how it is on draft night. You get together with your friends, you have beer, you have pizza. I'm here to tell you I've been through a lot of drafts. You can't just walk in and say, I'm going to have 7 beers and I'm going to draft this team and I'm going to be fine. You've got to work yourself up to that. So right now as you're listening, you need to start having beer. So you're going to have 1 or 2 beers today and
Tolerance.
1 or 2 beers tomorrow. And then the next day you're going to kick that up to 4 or 5 beers. And then the next day 4 or 5 beers. You can't just go into it blind and drink like a crazy person and be passed out on the floor mumbling who you want as your 4th running back.
Oh, it worked for me 2 years ago.
That's my final thought. you got to work your way up to it.
All right, so I'm going to pass on my final thought basically is I hope everybody has a great draft. The season's upon us. We're going to be off next week to recuperate and get ready for the season and start plotting our DFS numbers. So we will see you in 2 weeks for that. I'm with Cinch and all these other guys. Enjoy your draft. For some folks, this is the only time of year you get to see these folks. So go out there, enjoy it. It is something to be enjoyed and maximized, not something to stress over. Preparation is key, but don't stress. Go enjoy the experience. Now, before we sign off, there is one other piece of breaking news today that I want to bring to the podcasters that I don't know that Cinch will fully appreciate, but everyone else will. And that is on today, which is August 23rd, 2023, a wrestling legend passed. Terry Funk died today. And if you remember the old NWA or WCW, he was a guy who was before Mick Foley was the hardcore legend. Terry Funk was kind of a hardcore legend. Yep. And he had an amazing ongoing year-long feud with Ric Flair. So I want to toss to the other guys first. Craig, give me a Terry Funk moment or something that you think of when I say Terry Funk.
The first thing I think of is that the Texas strap match?
Oh, with him and Flair for the retirement?
It might have been. He did it a few times where they actually have a leather strap tied to they're tied to each other.
Oh, he used it as a whip. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds gay.
Well, whatever gets you off, man. I'm not judging here.
I'm not. There's nothing wrong with it. I was just.
Oh God, yeah, you're right. Continue. I forgot about the Texas straps.
Yep.
Sean, what do you remember about Terry Funk?
To tell you the truth, not much. I was a big WCW guy, and but I appreciate wrestling. And they had the oh God, I can't remember what the name of the league is now. The draft on Sirius XM with Michael Fabiano. They had their wrestling with all Mark Henry and Tommy Dreamer and.
That was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh my God, it was funny to listen to. Mickey James,
nice.
She was on there too, drafting. It was a super flex league. It was fun to listen to, and and that's what it is. It's all about. It's about having fun. So,
how does it have? Was Terry Funk on that? I'm not seeing the tie-in.
Wasn't. I don't know.
So Sean just went to a wrestling general direction. That's fine.
I don't know that well.
My favorite Terry Funk memory of all time will be, I think it was one of the Starcades, which if you're not old like me, Starcade.
Wait, is that when they had the ring, two rings next to each other?
That was War Games.
Oh, okay.
Starcade was their once a year pay-per-view for free, where they would do WCW and NWA, which became WCW, would do a pay-per-view level card, but on TBS. And one of the years, their big main event was Ric Flair versus Terry Funk in an I Quit match where the loser had to retire. And these were the two biggest names in WCW at the time. And I remember being glued to my chair for over an hour as these two guys wrestled, because I'm sitting there, and again, I know it's all predetermined, all that shit. But I was sitting there watching it going, they can't afford to lose either of these guys. How the hell is this going to end? And in the end, it ended with one of my favorite moments, which was Ric Flair put Terry Funk into a figure four leg lock, and they missed a bleep because at one point you clearly heard Ric Flair say, "I will break your fucking leg." And at that point, Terry Funk tapped out, and he left WCW at that point, and I went, holy crap, that's actually pretty huge. Fantastic match. To the point that Craig will remember, back in 2015, we met Ric Flair at a luncheon.
Damn right.
And I asked Ric Flair point blank, who was your favorite person to work with? Because he worked with Terry Funk a ton. And Ric Flair shocked me and said, Ricky Steamboat.
The Dragon.
The Dragon.
That's right. He's still around, you know.
he said to him he put air quotes because I was married to him for so long. And my first thought was like, yeah, you guys had some big rivalries. I was shocked he didn't say Terry Funk.
No,
Yeah.
I think you're missing the fact that they were actually married.
They might have been.
These guys
It might have
rubbed
been. I mean,
themselves down with baby oil and hugged for a half hour at a time.
He said that he had several stories that he could not tell in mixed company. So
His exact statement to Craig's point, because Craig looked at me because I was working for the people who organized that appearance, and it was just how Craig and I got in. Craig looked at me and went, "You got to cut his mic. Cut his mic. This is going south. Cut his mic." I think his exact words were, "There's a lot of stories I can't tell, like about those times we were in Asia and things about whorehouses." And I've never seen Craig look more shocked than I did in that moment. And I've known Craig 30 years.
it was a good time.
So-
It was a good time.
You know what else is a good time? Leaving us a review. Wherever you found us, we would appreciate your reviews. So go on whatever podcast directory you found us, because we have so many at this point, I have lost track. And leave us a review. It really helps out the podcast. We also love to hear from you. The easiest way is to reach us an email. We are fignutsdfs@gmail.com. We're also available on the platform formerly known as Twitter, at fignutsdfs. We're on Threads at fignutsdfs. I'm actually looking at Threads. I'm like the only person on earth still looking at Threads. And you always can look at us on Facebook at the Football Fignuts Podcast. Reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Gentlemen, this is the end of our pre-draft coverage. We have now done 6 episodes of rankings, reviews, and general roundtables. I want to thank our contributors, Cinch and Sean, for their dedication to getting this done.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is the part where you say you're welcome.
It's a fun time.
It's herding cats, guys. Last week,
I don't want to hurt cats.
No, you don't.
Heard.
No, you don't. I've done
I heard
that.
I don't want to hurt any cats.
Get it?
No, you
He
don't.
heard me.
I've done that. It's not fun.
Oh yeah,
You shouldn't be
Craig
herding
chases
cats
cats on a
either.
regular basis.
Yeah, I have
Regular
to.
basis. Yeah. Yeah. He's got a cat that's an outdoor ninja. I swear to God. There's been times they sent me over there to take care of that cat, and that cat is nowhere to be found. And I open the front door, and it's right behind me. I'm like, did you just teleport here? Are you freaking Nightcrawler?
Probably.
She might be. I don't know. I don't know what she does in her spare time. But we really appreciate your guys' contributions. We will be off next week because, frankly, I need a week off. And then we'll be back the Wednesday after, September 6th. We'll be recording and releasing the morning of September 7th because that's the season kickoff, kids. Chiefs, Lions.
Crazy. Chiefs, Lions, really?
Yeah, the Lions are not a good opening week game for the Chiefs. I'm just saying.
So really, 10 seconds going around the horn. Who wins that game and what's the final score? Cinch.
Oh, please.
They're not playing. The oh please
I'm done.
are off till Sunday.
Who wins? The Chiefs are going to win. It's not going to be close. It'll be 37-24 or something.
Okay. Craig.
I think Cinch just jinxed the Chiefs, and the Lions are going to win 28-14.
Sean.
If I have that power, look out, Bengals. I'm coming for you next.
I think the Chiefs will definitely win. I think it'll be closer than what people think. I will say 28-24.
Wrong. The correct answer is the Detroit Lions will win the opener 38-24.
You just don't want to jinx your team.
Hey, listen. These opening week games, everybody remember like 4 or 5 years ago when the Chiefs were a nothing burger with a new quarterback and they went into Foxborough and won a game in the second half?
They were a nothing team that were in the playoffs the year before and had won, I think, the division the year before. They weren't nothing.
The division's bad. The division's so bad.
Okay, but the Lions couldn't win their division, and their division isn't good either.
Oh, I think their division. I think the NFC North is one of the strongest divisions of football right now.
I think Britt meant the AFC North. I think.
No, NFC North. AFC North is strong too, but the Vikings are a contender team. The Bears are on a team on the way up. I'm not convinced that the Packers are a team on the way down yet. And that leaves the Lions, I think, are absolutely a playoff contender. I think the NFC North could send 2, maybe 3 teams to the playoffs this year. There, you heard it here, folks. Because the NFC is really bad and the NFC North is good. It's a hot take. It's a hot take. All right. Before the beer gives me any more interesting hot takes like Sam Howell for MVP, I'll thank everybody for appearing, and we will be back in 2 weeks. Until we speak again, my name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And I am Cinch.
We covered this. We're supposed to go in order, reverse order of how we do intros. So let's try that again.
Sure.
My name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
I'm Sean.
I'm lost. I don't know where I...
The best part...
The Football Fignuts podcast. Have a great week, everybody, and hello, Deb.
It's like Sean asked if he was really Sean.
Wait, what?
Didn't we go Craig and then me?
Craig was last.